The media continue to discuss the possible signing of a peace agreement between Hamas and the State of Israel. Thus, it was reported that the Egyptian delegation managed to achieve some progress during the negotiations in Israel. According to some reports, the Israelis approved the Egyptian proposals. At the same time, the point of view of Hamas on the proposal is still unclear and unknown. But at the same time, with another ultimatum to Benjamin Netanyahu, the finance minister spoke. According to him, agreeing to the Egyptian proposal is a humiliating capitulation, which will lead to the collapse of the government. Against this background, the news about the upcoming telephone talks between U.S. President Joe Biden and Benjamin Netanyahu, in which the details of the ceasefire agreement are likely to be discussed, looks rather curious. There are also rumors circulating online that very soon U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken may well be visiting Israel. The purpose of the trip is to discuss an imminent military operation in the south of the Gaza Strip near the border with Egypt, which is naturally of most concern to official Cairo. Joe Biden's administration is determined to try to persuade Benjamin Netanyahu and the leadership of the Israel Defense Forces to stop preparations for the intervention. At the same time, the situation in the Gaza Strip itself has not changed much for quite some time. In the north, Israeli forces are striking both Gaza and satellite towns, continuing in principle to destroy residential buildings. At the same time, in the southwest of the city, under the guidance of specialists of the U.S. Armed Forces, the construction of a port to receive ships with humanitarian aid and other cargoes continues. In practice, this will mean breaking the maritime blockade of the enclave, which the Israelis have held for more than 15 years. However, on whose terms this port will be built and who will control it is still a big question, because at this stage it is still not possible to talk about full control of the Palestinian formations. At the same time, as for other sites, in the center of the Gaza Valley, the Israel Defense Forces bombed all the camps in Nuseirat and Al-Brej and Al-Maghazi and Al-Mugraki. Moreover, counterfighting continues under Al-Mugraka and Nuseirat. Deir al-Bala is also being hit, with devastating airstrikes by the Israel Defense Forces time after time. Yes, there are no preparations for an offensive operation in these areas, but the Israelis continue to drop bombs on towns and villages, claiming that they are fighting Palestinian formations. In fact, they are now fighting absolutely everyone. As for what is happening in the south of the Gaza Strip, it is absolutely routine for Israeli formations to strike Khan Yunis and Rafah, located along the Egyptian border, as well as the coastal area of Al-Mawasi. In response, militants of the Shahid Abu Ali Mustafa military wing shelled Israel Defense Forces positions in Israeli-controlled territory east of Khan Yunis. Amid preparations for the military operation in Rafah, the Israelis rotated their units located outside the Palestinian enclave. Thus, the 890th Parachute Battalion of the EFA and the 101st Peyton Parachute Battalion of the Tzan Hanin Brigade arrived at their positions for retraining. On the northern border along the line of contact with Lebanese Hezbollah, the sides continue to exchange mutual strikes. On Friday night, there was an exchange of fire between Hezbollah and the Israel Defense Forces near the Al-Malakiya base. The Shiite group claimed an ambush as well as the use of anti-tank missile systems. A total of 9 Israeli civilians and 11 soldiers have been killed in border skirmishes since the escalation began October 7th. In the West Bank, Israeli security forces conducted another series of raids against supporters of Hamas and amateur Palestinian formations. The operation took place in localities in the provinces of Ramallah, Jenin, Hebron, and Tulkarm, among others. And on Friday, a Palestinian attacked a young girl in Ramallah, inflicting wounds incompatible with life with a cold weapon. The attacker himself was eliminated. Israel's far-right Minister of National Security, Itamar Ben-Gvir, even drove to the scene of the attack. However, on the way, his car got into a traffic accident and overturned. The politician was hospitalized in moderate condition. position. As for the situation in the entire Middle East, the Houthis once again attempted to fire a rocket at the port of Eilat in southern Israel. Also, once again, this missile was shot down. Pro-Iranian proxies shelled Israeli positions in the Golan Heights and also reported launching a drone at Israel's Haifa. However, locals denied any information that a drone had taken place at all. Perhaps the most striking development is that in the Red Sea region, once again, the Houthis are showing everyone that they know how to fight. Thus, they reported the defeat of an Israeli dry cargo ship and the British oil tanker Andromeda Star. True, only the latter vessel received minor damage, but the American drone was less fortunate. It was shot down by the Hussites near Sada, and apparently it was hit by a heavy anti-aircraft guided missile. So the Yemeni movement has reason for pride and joy. You bet! An American drone was shot down.